Going on? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And in case you don't know, Pillow Talk is, I think, it's the coolest, smartest, blackest place on the planet. It's the only place on the planet that I know of where you can get together with a finance PhD and a PhD in social work with over 20 years of relationship therapy experience and talk about things that relate to love and money. And so today, as you guys come in, first of all, I want to do a quick audio check. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear us. Okay, let us know. Put a quick yes, and also shout out the city that you're from. Let us know that we're coming through all right. That our audio is good. I want to let you guys know this podcast is also on Spotify. We got over 1.2 million downloads last month, so thank you all for supporting. It's very nice to know that there are people who appreciate intelligent conversations, who appreciate Black love, and also hit the thumbs up button. So you guys can hear me okay. All right. So I see Tawana Robinson. I'm sorry, not Tijuana. Tawana Robinson, Jazly, let's see, Seymour, Justin Pender, El Hodge, Tracy Benson, Tyra Good, Kendra Griffin, Jocelyn from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Very nice to see you. I see Justin's out of NYC. And all right, so feel free to shout out the city you're from. Keep letting us know what city you're from. All right, so Dr. Alicia.
Yes, Boyce.
Ma'am, I have a question for you, ma'am. Are you prepared for my question, ma'am?
I guess I'm a little tired this morning. I've been working hard this weekend trying to get everything together for Thanksgiving.
So you've been momming.
I've been on mom duty, big time.
We be momming.
You know what I've been doing, so
yeah. You've been very serious, very committed, getting ready for Thanksgiving, and I respect that. So, have you been following the whole situation with Cassie and Diddy? And there was a lawsuit where Cassie, who's an old girlfriend of Diddy's, I guess they dated 8,000 years ago, and she just filed a big, massive lawsuit claiming some pretty horrible things, basically saying that she was abused. That the R word was used. There was talk about things like sex trafficking, just a lot of real heavy stuff. And then all of a sudden just kind of went away. The lawsuit got settled and she got money. And now it's like, I'm fine now. It's all right. We can move on now. What did you think about that? What were your thoughts as you kind of watched all that go down?
Well, first of all, this is alleged. So we don't know. Allegedly, she's saying that Diddy abused her during their 10-year relationship. And there have been a lot of people coming out of the woodworks who are kind of confirming these allegations. And she sounds like she's somebody who wants justice and wants to be able to tell her story. And she, from what I'm hearing from her, it took a toll on her. And she's now to the point where she's strong enough to talk about it. And that makes sense. If it's alleged, so let's just say this happened to her. It takes a long time to be in a 10-year abusive relationship. It takes a very long time to be able to get to the point where you can talk about it, where you can write about it, where you can say, I know it was 10 years of a relationship. I'm not certain when they broke up, but she's now gotten to the point where she feels that she's strong enough to be able to press charges against him. And so that's what she did. And she's within her right to do that. If she feels that she was violated, that's what she's done.
Okay. So,
yeah.
How do you feel about that? I'd like to get everybody's opinion on this. So what do y'all think? D says she exposed him and she got paid, and lucky for him, he's not going to jail about it. That's a good question, D. Or you bring up a good point. So I think one question that a skeptic might ask is, why does it always come down to money? I have a PhD in money, so I'm always interested in how money motivates behavior. And one thing that we know about money is that money will, a lot of people will lie for money. Like, give me a yes in the chat if you'd be tempted to lie if you knew you were going to get $20 million for some sort of lie or making up a story, right? I'm not saying that this is what's going on. I'm not saying this is what happened at all. But there are people who say, well, why now? Why not when it happened? Why not go after criminal charges, right? If Diddy is this dangerous guy, which who knows? I mean, maybe he is. If he's really this dangerous guy and he's this terrible person that did these horrible things to you, why does it all go away when someone writes a check, right? Like, it seems to me that a greater degree of justice is served by pursuing criminal charges And I know a lot of y'all. I know a lot of y'all are honest people, and you'd never tell even a white lie for $100 million or $20 million or whatever. But there are people out there that might, right? Why not have a scenario where you say, look, there's not going to be any money exchange, but we're going to make him pay, right? You can go to the courts if you bring enough evidence, we can make him pay, but you won't get paid. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with saying that just as a test of like honesty?
Well, that's what happens in these cases. If you make someone pay for the pain and suffering. So I'm certain she went through years of psychological distress. This is alleged. So we're just painting a scenario. If she went through years and years of psychological distress, they're based on what he did to her, then she can say, I was recovering. I was in the process of recovering, and someone needs to pay for that pain and suffering and the money that she spent, recovering from this very tragic thing that she's alleging that he did to her. So, yeah, I mean, that's just a progression of how things happen. She's thinking that she needs to be compensated for probably the intense amount of therapy that she went through, probably getting her life back together. It's so easy for all of us, because we're not in that situation, to have to deal with somebody who is a huge, hip hop star, mogul. It's very difficult if you're in that business. I just think it's just tough. And so she's saying, yeah, I'm at the point now where I want to be compensated for all of the pain and suffering that I went through while we were together and afterwards, and still probably today, if these allegations were true. And we don't know if they are, but maybe not. But he settled out of court. And so I'm certain that there was a lawyer, that her lawyer probably went to him and said, hey, we have this evidence. Do you want a trial? Do you want a trial? We got this number of evidence. We got this number of people who are willing to testify and corroborate her story. Here's the situation. Do you want it to go to trial, or do you want to just settle? And then the whole thing can go away. And clearly he said very quickly, I just want to settle. That doesn't mean that he did it, but that just meant that he did not want to go through that process for whatever reason.
Okay. By the way, everybody, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. I'm a finance professor. My wife is a professor of social work, and we do Pillow Talk to have fun and intelligent conversations about interesting issues going on in the Black community. So while we're talking about Cassie and Diddy today, I want everybody to know we're not here to really gossip about whether or not it's true or who did what and all this other stuff. The goal is really to elevate the conversation, because relationship abuse is very real. Also, financial exploitation is very real, and we see these things, and trauma is very real. So given that Alicia is an expert in trauma, and also my personal belief is that undiagnosed, untreated trauma, and all of y'all, a lot of y'all in here, half of y'all are traumatized. And if you don't get treated, you're going to have problems with that. So I encourage you to get some treatment, get some help, get some healing. Because if you don't, you're going to make bad choices. Bad things are going to happen in your life. Financially, you're going to have challenges. So anyway, if everybody could do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, Dr. Alicia is she does work with clients. She's doing a 2-day retreat and also a therapy group at draliciawellness.com. So if you go to draliciawellness.com, you can take a look and decide if you want to participate in some of the activities she has going on, where she treats a lot of people in the Black Business School. She's also the head of our Black Financial Therapy Department, which is actually the first ever Black Financial Therapy Department ever created, because we realize that there are psychological barriers that keep you from building your wealth. Every time you see chaos in your family, that's a wealth killer. Every time you see a damaged relationship, that's a wealth killer. Every time somebody makes bad choices, and that's a wealth killer. Every time she chooses to date the thug over the nice guy, that's a wealth killer. Every time he chooses to make bad choices in his life, that's a wealth killer. All these things are wealth killers, y'all. And I want you to understand this, that if we don't get it together mentally, our money will never grow. And that's where I stand as the finance guy. So let me hop into this. So here's the thing. So I'm looking at the update on Cassie and Diddy, babe. And so what I found here is that This case took the path of a lot of other prominent cases. Tiger Woods is going through something like that now too. Tiger Woods also was being accused of typical stuff, same stuff. He abused me, he manipulated me, he harmed me, and he wrote a check. Pay attention now. Tiger wrote a check, settled the suit. Now the woman literally came back and said, "This never happened. Oh, I was just playing, y'all. He never did these things. All these horrendous accusations I was making that he's a terrible criminal, that he should go to jail, that he's a horrible person. All that was not true. I was making it all up. I kid you not. Go look at the headline.
I'm sorry, you said Tiger Woods, the lady that he kicked out the house.
Yeah,
when he faked this, he faked a trip.
Well, that's what
take her to the airport.
Right. Well, the thing about the suit is that she literally says that none of it happened. She literally is admitting that she's a liar. That's what she's admitting. She's admitting I lied. That's what she said. She said, no, none of that was true. I'm sitting there just trying to understand what's the standard.
Well, she's what's the relationship is over.
Like seriously, what would stop you? Seriously, what would stop you? I want y'all to look at a real life scenario. What would stop my wife? I love my wife. I give her 20 kisses every morning. But let me tell you about our relationship. We love each other a whole lot. But sometimes I get on her nerves. I get on her nerves like moldy biscuits. Seriously. And sometimes she gets on my nerves. Because that's relationships, right? You get on. Give me a yes if you understand this. Give me a yes if you follow what I'm saying. Give me a yes if you know what it's like to be in a relationship where you love each other, but sometimes y'all push each other to the limit. So sometimes my wife probably has a day. I imagine I'm not gonna extrapolate too much on this, babe, but I want to make a point here. So let me do this. Someday she might be like, "Boyce, I really love you, but right now I just don't like you that much." Right, and that's okay.
I never said that to you though.
So right. Well, you never said it, but I could tell. I know you. I feel your energy.
I said
I'm an empath. Remember that. I can feel your energy. I know what my wife. I know what my wife said. So check it out. So pay attention now. Listen to this. Mm-hmm. What would stop my wife from going like let's say that we parted ways, and let's say what would stop her, which she would never do this, by the way. That's how you got to pick women who don't do things like this. What would stop her from saying, "Oh, now I'm going to do a tell-all book. Dr. Boyce is out there. Everybody know who he is. I'm going to tell you about the real Dr. Boyce, and I'm going to write a book and put a picture of Boyce with devil horns on his face and blood coming out of his eyes, and say you don't know about the dark side of Boyce." And let's say she told elaborate, crazy stories about me doing terrible things that involve like knives and pet monkeys and sex trafficking and all kinds of. What if she did all that, right? Think about this, right? And then filed a massive $100 million lawsuit, right? Well, my only defense, like I could go out and say, this is BS. Like, this is not true. There's no evidence. I never did these things to my wife. But how do you prove that you're not a predator, especially when you're a black man? You can't prove you're not. It's hard to do because some people are going to believe it because they're going to be comparing your experience to their own experience. They're going to think, well, I remember when a guy did these things to me. He also had some killer pet monkeys and it was a terrible night that night. And I bet Dr. Boyce is doing the same thing. So that's the thing. That's the challenge for men is, how do you prove it? I think there should be a standard of evidence before you go and accuse somebody of something. I think with Diddy, it's an exceptional case, to be honest with you, because let's just keep it 100. About 80% of y'all probably believe he killed Tupac. Like, let's just be honest. And then also, Diddy has had a shady, questionable track record at best. So Diddy's maybe not the best example, but I'm really talking about just other scenarios where you have people that say, oh, I get it. So the world has been convinced that woman good, man bad. Because think about this, process this for a minute. If I try to do that to you and I said, well, let me write a tell-all book about Dr. Alicia and how she, I used drugs, but it was only because she manipulated me into drugs. And I made bad choices, but it was because she tricked me into bad choices. And I'm going to sue her for $100 million because she tricked me into all these bad choices. I would get laughed out of town. I could not do to you. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? I hope people are hearing me on this. I could not do to you what you could easily do to me. That's a scary experience for a black man, especially a black man who may not be perfect, but is trying to do his best. It sometimes it ain't right. I just feel like sometimes it's unfair. Like with the fact that Tiger Woods' ex-girlfriend can make up a bunch of stories, demand money, get money, and then come back and honestly admit, oh, all that was made up. I was just trying to like kick his ass. I don't know if I like that so much. Well, give me your thoughts. I'm done. Thank you for letting me get that out.
Okay, well, first of all, I mean, what could stop me from doing a tell-all book about you? You know, it's my story. It's my story of our relationship, and I might just write a book. I mean, it won't be negative. It'll be mostly positive. If I wrote a book about it. So, what I'm saying is that people have the right to tell their story, and that doesn't mean that it's true or it's not true, but that's what happens when you're in the public eye, and you deal with people and you have relationships with them. Sometimes people want to capitalize on it, and they want to be able to share their story because there's so much in the public eye. People weigh in. That's distracting, Boyce. People are weighing in on.
Well, don't look at the comments.
I'm not looking at the comments, but it's distracting.
I'm trying to teach you how to focus.
Yeah, but why don't you listen to what I'm saying? So
I am, but I want everybody to be heard. Go ahead.
Okay.
You're being heard.
What I'm saying is that, I'm trying to put myself in the position. I'm trying to be empathetic. I'm trying to put myself in the position of Puff Daddy. Maybe he didn't.
Well, actually, it's Diddy.
Diddy, whatever.
He hasn't been Puff Daddy since 1990.
You know what? I'm gonna call him Sean. I'm trying to put myself in the position.
What's up with this nigga changing his name over and over again?
That's what people do in this business.
Right? That's so clownish to me. But
no, it's not clown. By the way, changing your name, I think, is beautiful because I think in order to go to the next level, sometimes you need to shed your old self and you need to start again. That's what it means to be reborn. So it's always, this is for anybody who wants to set new goals for 2024. The best thing you could do is shed yourself. You have to almost kill the old part of you. That's what it means to die. You have to die off the old part of yourself so that you can become this new person. And I really think that changing your name is symbolic representation of being a new person, of going to the next level. I think all of us should always look for opportunities to be better, to do better, to develop and to grow. And sometimes symbolically, you have to change your name in order to do that. So I totally get that. And I do recommend people doing those things. So that's the first thing. I think that is just like, look at Puff Daddy and learn from him. He's basically winning, and clearly it's working for him.
Puff Daddy. I think that's so funny.
Well, because I think Puff Daddy was my first introduction to him. I should call him just Sean. So I really think that that's beautiful. Now, I think that, think about if someone was really abusive to you. This is all alleged, but let's just say someone was really abusive to you, and here your life, you're reeling from the relationship. It ended. You're reeling from the spotlight and you're spiraling down, and you're in your cocoon healing from someone who's very powerful, but was yet abusive to you. And you feel like you need to tell your story. And you see that person really not caring about the fact that you are hurt. And they're, Sean is everywhere and he's notarized and everybody looks up to him and he gets a standing ovation. I mean, it's got to make you feel angry and upset. So I think that that's sort of like, putting myself in her shoes. That may be what she's thinking about. Like, no, this man can't get away with what he's done. She's probably hearing stories of him doing that to other people. This is all alleged, so we don't know. But, suppose other women are coming to her and saying, hey, he did the same thing to me and he thinks he can get away with this. And so, I mean, I do think that, you talked about gender, you talked about men and women, and I'm not making this up because I teach a class on domestic violence. 85% of perpetrators of domestic violence in the physical sense, where they do physical harm and sexually assault, they're men. And usually they're really powerful men, macho men who feel like they have to dominate and conquer, and part of this hip hop culture and the images that are, it's kind of misogynistic toward women. So it fits that type of culture. And so So yeah, I mean, that's what happens. You need to be kind to the people close to you. It's not like you, Boyce. I mean, Boyce, I don't know if people know this. Boyce is really kind to people. There is not a thread
You
of
make
any
fun
of
of me
that.
for being too nice.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Being too nice. And let me just say this. And thank you for saying that, babe. I appreciate the compliment.
yeah.
Um, I will say this. I think that part of what can happen, and I don't want this to be the outcome, is that I can appear to be defending men who might have done bad things, because I understand both sides of the equation. I'm not here to defend Diddy. I don't know this man. And I'm not here to defend Cassie. I don't know her.
Yeah.
I will say this though. Part of the consequence that I've had of sometimes being too nice and too friendly and trying to be too helpful is that I've seen the other side. I've seen the predatory side. I believe this, and I'm gonna say this, and I hope everybody can hear me. And not, you don't have to agree, but I want you to consider this. Women can be predators too. Women can be predators too, and I don't know if our society understands that. And the reason I think our society doesn't always get it, and I'm not saying Cassie is in this category. It's not about Cassie because I don't know her, but maybe Tiger's ex, maybe she's in the category. I don't know, because she came back and literally said, "Oh, I made everything up." So typically, what tends to happen is you're right. Men, male abuse tends to show up in a certain form. Maybe it's more physical. Maybe it's more aggressive. It's more high testosterone. Those are all terrible things. I mean, and I'm very sensitive to that because
They put you in the hospital. It's a public health problem.
absolutely,
You're in the hospital, you have these
yes,
physical wounds and
yes.
mental wounds.
Yes, hold on. Let me finish my point, babe. Let me finish my point. I hope I don't sound abusive by interrupting. Okay, because I want you to let me finish this
I just
point.
want to add that in there.
I agree. I agree
Mhm.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, don't forget. Just last week, Robin Simpson, who spoke at our All Black National Convention in 2019, was just murdered by her husband in front of her daughter in Houston. Y'all should look up Robin Simpson in Houston. She's a Delta, proud Delta, beautiful woman, wonderful person, great human being. Now she's gone because allegedly because her husband did something terrible in front of their child. So this is real, and she's not the only one. She's not the only one I've known. So I think domestic violence has to be taken very seriously. If you see something, say something. If it's happening to you, tell somebody. Get educated on this, and then men, of course, don't do it. Never ever. I mean, I'm serious. Again, I'm gonna be old school with the men and tell you right now, straight up, I don't believe you ever have an excuse to hit a woman. I just don't. 99.9% of the time, you have no excuse to hit that woman. I don't care what she said to you. I don't care if she hit you first. I don't get none of that. You don't go hitting women at all, period. Right. So we know these things. Now, here's the thing. What does not get discussed, though, is that when women show up as predators, it looks different than men. So it can slide under the radar. I believe women's predatory behavior does not show up in her punching you in the face or body slamming you, because women don't have the muscles that men have. But women have psychological muscles that they can flex. Women have emotional muscles. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying. Women have tremendous emotional muscles. Y'all are much more in touch with your emotions. You have a tremendous ability to emotionally manipulate men, break them down, turn them into like literally boiling pots of hot lava on the ground. And nobody really documents that. I've yet to see a man successfully go to court and sue a woman for doing what Jada Pinkett Smith is looking like she's doing to Will Smith right now. If you look at Jada,
We
and
do.
you look at Jada and Will, like
We
seriously,
do.
at least based on public perception. Oh, I'm gonna finish. Let me say this.
Okay.
Based on public perception, Jada ain't slapping Will around, ain't beating his ass, but Jada is doing some horribly, at least it appears to be, some pretty toxic things to this poor man, and society's starting to see that. And here's the thing: it happens in millions and millions of households, and it doesn't get addressed, and people don't get paid in $10 million in a lawsuit because of that. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, Johnny Depp, I'm thinking about the Johnny Depp lawsuit. I mean, he was victorious in talking about how I don't remember the lady's name, but how
Amber Heard.
what's her name?
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard. Yeah. So he talked about how what Amber Heard did to him, and he was victorious in that. He said that she lied about what she said to get me back. And I mean, it was a big public trial, and he was victorious in that. So there are men who speak up, and I'm happy about that, because I really think more men need to come forward, and they don't. Most men who are even physically abused, they're not going to call the authorities and they're not going to speak up. But I'm glad about Johnny Depp, because more men need to speak up, because it's a crime. It's criminal.
Well, remember Johnny Depp did not sue Amber Heard for abusing him, though. He sued Amber Heard for lying about him. He sued her for
lying about his abuse. But
the lawsuit was
during that trial, he spoke up about how abusive she was.
Right, he did, and I think, but remember that to me, that's a different category, where he's basically doing a straight defamation thing. Like, he's saying you wrote these articles and these magazines all believe you because you were a woman telling a terrible story about a man. But I was also thinking about, like, how many cases do you have? How many Diddy what if you switch the gender? That's what I'm saying. What if you switch the gender, and let's say Diddy was suing Cassie and said, we were together all those years. She emotionally manipulated me. I used drugs, but it was only because she tricked me into using drugs. I had sex with people and did crazy things sexually because she manipulated me and did these, like I don't really know. I don't believe, honestly, that the world would take that seriously. And I think that's
the world needs
double standard.
Yeah, I think that's a problem. I think the world needs to take it more seriously, and I hope more men step forward. I mean, I'm thinking about the Lizzo allegations. They're allegations, we don't know, but there are people speaking up against her, and I mean, that's a hostile work environment, allegedly. But so I think we're starting to see more of this, and I hope to see much more. And I know, I think financial abuse is what you see mostly with women against men, where they take your credit card and they have these scams. Have you seen that in Chicago? Some women were prosecuted for drugging men and, like, going into their wallet and, charging up their credit cards.
The Cardi B play.
Exactly.
Cardi B, God bless her.
Brags about, not only has she bragged about abusing men, but she said that if I was ever in a tight situation, I will do it again. So there's no remorse at all. The mentality of people who think like that, that's very abusive. Yeah. And I really do think that those individuals that do those types of things, they need to pay for it. They need to pay. Mm-hmm. Anybody who's abusive to someone and exploits someone, men or women, they really need to see their day in court, and they need to pay for it. So that's criminal behavior that you're promoting. And there's a whole movie on it. Wasn't she in a whole movie on how they got together? I didn't see the movie. In it or got together and schemed to take advantage of men. It's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know if she was in the movie or not, but I do remember that. It was something about scheming and scamming or something. I don't remember, but by the way, everybody, speaking of people who are not schemers and scammers, I'm here with my beautiful wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, and you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. If you could hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, this podcast is on Spotify and Apple. So if you have Spotify or Apple, you just look up my name, Boyce Watkins. I put all of our content under the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. And we actually got over 1 million downloads last month. So thank you guys for supporting. We have built an independent family business, and we're able to reach the entire world. We're really proud of that. And Dr. Alicia is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. She sees clients on an individual and collective basis, relationship issues, things like that. So if you're interested in learning more about what she does, you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. And also, if you go to draliciawellness.com, she's actually having a wellness retreat very, very soon, and putting together groups of people that want to heal. She's really good at what she does. So feel free to go take a look at that. And then myself, I wrote a book called Financial Lovemaking years ago that you can find on Amazon and Audible that may help you in your understanding of love and money and how they intersect. And I'll end us with this part of the discussion, babe. Mm-hmm. I think that when you're talking about money, what I really see here, I remember Diddy had this old saying where he used to say, more money, more problems. Anybody remember that back in the day? More money, more problems. I think that this is, if you want to pick up a lesson from this, right? The lesson is not, go be like Diddy, go be like Cassie. I think both of those individuals, they could have made different choices. They could have been with other people, but for whatever reason, they chose to be together, and they had a crazy relationship. He wrote a check. That's between them. But overall, though, I think that anybody who is navigating the world either with money or seeking money, has to understand the flaws and the challenges that come with what money does. Money transforms relationships. Money as a man, money will make you that much more handsome and attractive. Women, I believe not all women, but a lot of women are attracted to men that have money, and they can be deceived by a man that has money, right? He shows up, he like Diddy, he's glistening, he's shiny, he's got all the fame and all the power, and I guess that's very appealing to a 19-year-old girl who doesn't have a father like me at home to say, I don't want you dating that guy, right? Because remember, even though she was young, she made that choice, right? And I think that there should be some accountability there, and I don't think there's anything wrong with accountability. And so, what I would say to anybody that is thinking about this sort of thing, just understand that your income level and your wealth level changes how you're able to date, who you have to choose to date. When I got with you and married you, I know you're not a person that cares a whole lot about money. You're a person that understands money. You weren't broke when we got together, and I know that overall, though, it's like I remember noticing that a lot of women were interested in me because they saw what I could do for them financially, and that bothered me. That concerned me because it makes you say it's almost like money is almost like it's like a woman having the best makeup in the world, but then you wonder, well, what's going to happen when I take off my makeup? Is this person still going to be interested in me when I take off the makeup? So with the money, it became one of these things where I think I ended up deliberately marrying a woman who knew me before I had any money, because I knew the foundation of our friendship. I knew the foundation of why you hung out with me. Like, you hung out with me when I was a broke graduate student who drove a hoopty, who couldn't even put gas in the car. And so that actually played a part in how I chose who I wanted to be married to. Besides the fact that I thought you were the most beautiful thing on the planet. I mean, that's still true. Go ahead. I'll let you share your final thought on this. So be careful when it comes to how you date when it comes to money. I think as your income situation changes, your economic situation changes, just know that it changes the dating market for you. It also changes relationship dynamics. I just got through counseling a young guy the other day who was having money problems, and he specifically noted that when he had less money, his woman started treating him differently, and the respect level changed, and there were a lot of relationship problems that came because the money wasn't flowing right. And I'd like to get your take on some of that, as well as like your final thoughts, babe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think also money is used to control other people. I think that was the issue in a lot of relationships. It's almost, it doesn't, in households, it's like, well, I make more money, so I have more say so, or I'm going to use my money and manipulate other people to do certain things. And so it's what's money is used as a tool. I mean, money is a fantastic thing. My relationship with money is fabulous. I love money. And money loves me. How about that? It comes to me.
That's a
So
nice little meditation.
I love money and money loves me. but but the thing is that it's what you use it for. I think about money where, okay, I'm going to use my money and invest it in these projects and invest it in helping the community. It's what you use it for. And sometimes people use it to manipulate, to pull strings, to say, hey, you know what, I can do whatever I want to you because you don't have the money and you don't have the ability to out-lawyer me. So I can do whatever I want. There's people who can get really power hungry with money and feel like that they could just use it. So it's, what is your relationship with it and what do you want to do with it? I think that's important. And in households, I mean, I don't know what happened with that person that you were mentoring or talking to the other day, but you have to be a team. You're a team member. And people who are married, it's not your money, it's our money. It's not my money. Legally, in a legal marriage, it's not my money, it's not your money, it's ours together legally. So as a household, you have to get together and decide what you're going to do with your resources, all of your resources, not just money. This is part of it, and work together as a team so it's not chaotic and bills aren't being paid and things are falling through the hoops. It's important to organize your family, and money is part of that organization so that your kids can be healthy and people don't have to be worried about what's going on. You live within your means and it's okay. Yes, you don't have it yet, but you will get it. You can work together. So I think money is just a beautiful way of bringing people together to do great things.
I think so too. I
Yeah.
think money is a powerful thing. Think of it like fire, right? With
Yeah.
fire, With fire, you got to control it. You got to manage it. You got to think about what you're going to apply it to. But if you figure that out, fire can be great, right? Keep you warm. It can cook your food. It can keep you alive. But you let it get out of control, it can burn your whole building down and kill everybody. Right? So as you guys think about money, just be thoughtful about that. Everybody in here plans to be rich. That's why y'all hang out with us, because you're upwardly mobile people. Most of y'all are Black, but those who are not Black, we love y'all too. We don't hold your melanin deficiency against you. And at the end of the day, I will tell you, when you're talking about success and happiness, don't ever think that money automatically gives you happiness. Money does not show up at your doorstep and deliver a big bowl of happiness. What money can do, though, is money can give you the day off work so you could sit together with people you love and figure out what's going to make you happy. That's what money can do for you. So God bless you. I hope you guys get all the money in the world. And I want to thank you all for listening to this episode of Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. Take a second. Please hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe. Also, I'm really proud to say that we actually have 2 YouTube channels, Your Black World and what's the Dr. Boyce Black Excellence channel. That's the bigger name. And also Fly Nubian Queen. They've both approached 500,000 subscribers. So, and that's not even all of the platforms that we have with our organization. So we're reaching the world, and it's because we love you, we love y'all love us, and we appreciate you so much. And I think we're approaching 1 billion views actually across different platforms. So we're getting it done, and we're really happy about it, because I want Black intelligence to kind of be a thing. I want Black people everywhere to just be happy. I want us to be successful. That's why we do our All Black National Convention every year, which is going to be in Chicago. A lot of y'all came to that. And we just want strong families. We want our children educated. We want our women to be loved. We want our men to be strong. We want our community to be better. And that's why we do this, y'all. So if you ever want to know why we get up here and get online and embarrass ourselves every now and then, at least I do, then that's why. That's the goal. That's the agenda. So if that's your agenda too, then hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you share, subscribe, follow us on Spotify. Just look up Boyce Watkins. You can find the podcast there. And also Alicia's retreat that's coming up is at draliciawellness.com. That's draliciawellness.com. So have a happy Sunday, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.